Washington Commanders versus Chicago Bears. Last time these teams played each other, a Hail Mary won the game for DC and sent the Bears' season into a tailspin. With the Pope on their side now, will the Bears' prayers finally be answered, or will Jesus Daniels get another win? We'll see in the simulation, but first, let's get behind the bar and make our drink a Chrysanthemum. We're closing out Week 6 here in Washington, D.C., playing host to the Bears in their second primetime game of the season. It's really a tale of two quarterbacks here, with the number 1 overall pick facing off against the number 2 overall pick, though they have certainly had very different coaching experiences in their short time in the league. We'll discuss football more later on in the simulation, though, but first, we have to meet our cocktail from Chicago, the Chicago Cocktail. Yes, you heard that right. No, your speakers are not broken. The representative for Chicago this week is the Chicago. But what is this drink? Where did it come from? This drink can first be found in Harry Craddock's 1930s Savoy cocktail books, and is essentially just the champagne cocktail with a bit of dry curacao added to it. Now, the champagne cocktail dates back to a time before the concept of a cocktail had really solidified, with its exact origins lost to history, but falling sometime in the mid-1800s. The core of the champagne cocktail is a flute prepared with a sugar cube, about an ounce of cognac, dash of Angostura bitters, and then topped off champagne. Now, wine snobs will scream at you if you use a really nice champagne in this cocktail, and honestly, they're kind of right. You know, the main advantage of this drink is that by adding in the cognac and the bitters, you're adding in extra flavors that can sort of interact in an interesting way and cover up some of the off notes that might be in the champagne. So why would you use a really interesting champagne when you know that most of it is just going to get covered up by those things anyways? Interestingly, the sugar cube in this drink doesn't really exist to add sweetness to the drink, rather to act as a nucleation site, causing the drink to bubble more aggressively. This is why recipes will specifically call for a sugar cube as opposed to simple syrup or loose sugar. Now, this is different from old-fashioned recipes that call for a sugar cube, where they are just trying to seem sort of cool and old-timey, where, you know, they're ignoring the fact that simple syrup just blends better into a drink than a sugar cube would. Enough about Chicago and champagne, though. Let's now move on to DC and its signature flower, the cherry blossom. Now, the cherry blossom falls into the category of drinks like, you know, the Black Eyed Susan and the Packers Punch, where there's no real specific recipe. All you sort of got to do to be recognized as this drink is, you know, get the color right and maybe tick a few flavor boxes. In the case of the cherry blossom, that means the drink's got to be pink, and ideally it's got a few floral notes to it. The specific recipe I'm using as inspiration for this week's cocktail is one I found on the cocktails subreddit, which I have a link to down in the description. But this one calls for Roku gin, which, you know, bonus points as well if you're doing a cherry blossom cocktail, if you can use Japanese ingredients in it. Elderflower Liqueur, Hibiscus Syrup, lemon juice, all topped off with Prosecco. And the end result is a very bubbly, sort of, you know, nice light pink drink with a veritable bouquet of floral flavors. If you know one thing about DC, it's probably that everybody you hate the most works here. If you know two things about DC, though, it's how absolutely gorgeous the cherry blossoms are. They were a gift from the Japanese in 1912, and the annual Cherry Blossom Festival is absolutely beautiful, even if there are too many tourists. And really, they require no further explanation, so as a result, I'm just going to put up a little bit of B-roll of the cherry blossoms, and we can just chill out for a little bit. Wasn't that relaxing? Now, quick note before I get into the spec of this drink. This hibiscus syrup is a 1-to-1 simple syrup with a 1/4 cup of hibiscus tea steeped in it. So that's 1 cup sugar, 1 cup water, a 1/4 cup of hibiscus tea. The cherry blossom recipe that I'm using as inspiration calls for you to use a full cup of hibiscus tea when you make this syrup. To me, that'd be way too much hibiscus. But ultimately, I think it comes down to how fine your tea is and how strong you want the flavor in your syrup to be. So syrup details aside, the spec for this drink, we are going to start off with 1.5 ounces of cognac. This is not my favorite bottle of cognac. but, you know, it'll do the job for a cocktail. Perfectly serviceable for what we are using it for. Then half an ounce of our Elderflower Liqueur, which, you know, I cannot get over this bottle. I love this bottle so much. It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool aesthetically as a bottle, and then when you account for the fact that that Elderflower Liqueur has a really interesting flavor to it, oh, it gets even cooler. Then 1 ounce of our Hibiscus Syrup. I don't think I'm mispronouncing that, but there's something in my mind that tells me I'm mispronouncing that, or at least like pronouncing it weirdly. I don't know, maybe it's just a New Englander in me. Maybe like, should I be putting less emphasis on the H? Am I overemphasizing the H? More like an hibiscus syrup in it. 1 ounce of lemon juice. I think I gotta top this bottle off. I've been running through the lemon juice recently. All right, and now that's the base for our drink, so we are going to shake all of this up. All right. Woo! This is a very pretty color. We are going to strain that into our waiting martini glass. Oh my goodness, will you look at the color from that hibiscus? Holy shit. All right. And then we are going to top this with about 3 ounces of Prosecco. I don't plan on actually measuring this, so this will be a rough guide. And let's see if I can feel it. It wants to pop off on me. Oh. I feel cheated. There's no cork in this. I thought I was gonna get to do a dramatic Prosecco pop. What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. All right, well, top it off with your 3 ounces of Prosecco. I wanted to do this in a flute, but I do not have a flute, so this martini glass will have to do. I'd have to scale back the recipe as well if I did it in a flute. All right. And so combining Chicago and, you know, cherry blossom, that flower, despite being the exact wrong color for it, I've decided to call this drink the Chrysanthemum, the flower of Chicago. So let's give it a try. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. Oh my goodness. Hold on. That drink might be perfect. Oh god, so good. So if I've seen a little bit off at all in filming this episode, it's because this is the 3rd episode I'm shooting on the same day. So I'm a little bit toasted right now, but this drink is so good. It is such a perfect blend. That hibiscus, you know, it's not too strong. It's not like, you know, potpourri or anything like that, you know. It's sort of just enough floral notes. They're playing beautifully with the floral notes off the Elderflower Liqueur. And that, the cognac and the Prosecco, you know, they play beautifully together. They're very sort of, you know, in sync. They're very in tune with each other. And they provide just like the perfect sort of foundation for the floral notes of that hibiscus syrup, of that Elderflower Liqueur to build off of. And the lemon juice provides just enough acidity that it sort of cuts through it and prevents the drink from feeling too sweet, because this drink can absolutely feel too sweet. It is sort of like, it's really riding the line in a sense. But oh my god, if you served this drink as like a brunch drink, you know, as like a wedding drink, oh, it would go over so well. This drink would be so well received. And also, like, it's a beautiful color. I mean, just look at the color that you get from that hibiscus syrup. It really stands up to all of these other ingredients that we've added into it. You know, this is a lot of liquid, and it still has a very strong color. It's really funny. That hibiscus syrup almost, like, has revived the grape in the cognac, right? When you have cognac, like you get some of the sort of, grape notes that are there initially. And, when you have a wine, you can certainly taste a bit of the grape. But maybe it's just a visual thing. Maybe it's just the fact that it's, more of this sort of reddish purple because of that hibiscus syrup. But it feels like you really taste a lot more grape than I was sort of expecting initially in this drink. Like, it really is, if I had to describe the two sort of main flavor profiles for this drink, it is like grape and floral. And those two flavors blend together in a really beautiful way and produce just an immaculate drink right here. This is very dangerous. I will be drinking this quite quickly once I'm done filming this episode, because I am so happy with how this drink turned out. Well, hopefully this game can live up to the expectations set by this drink, but there's only one way to find out, and that's in the simulation. The commies get the ball first and get absolutely stuffed on their return, starting on their own 21-yard line. Both teams trade punts to start off, is what I would say if DC didn't block the Bears' first punt, scooping and scoring for the first touchdown of the game. In far less dramatic fashion, the Bears answer on their following drive as Caleb Williams hits Cole Kmet for the 1-yard touchdown. At the end of the first quarter, Jaden Daniels delivers a dart over the middle, which sails high and is picked off by Tremaine Edmonds, who gets brought down at the 38-yard line. The Bears pay off that interception with a 5-yard touchdown to DeAndre Swift on the angle route. Later on in the second, the Commanders make it to the red zone via a Bears pass interference call, but the defense redeems themselves by sacking Daniels on third down to force the field goal. This field goal would actually be the final point scored in the first half, as neither offense is able to do much of anything, and we go into the second with the Bears up 14-10. In their first drive of the second half, the Bears eat up over half of the third quarter, capping it all off with Caleb scrambling in for the 8-yard rushing TD. Down 11 points in the fourth quarter, Jaden Daniels is flushed from the pocket, outruns the pressure, and flees all the way into the end zone for the 15-yard score. The commies go for two to make this a field goal game, and Jaden Daniels calls his own number again, scrambling in to cut the Bears' lead to 3. With just over 2 minutes left in the game, the Bears once again turn to the ground. This time it's Roschon Johnson spinning free and taking it from 9 yards out to make this a 2-score game once more. Now it takes all of their timeouts, but the Commanders finally manage to get into the red zone, and Daniels hits Noah Brown on the out route for the touchdown with 26 seconds left in the game. Needing it to have a chance, the Commanders go for the onside kick, but the Bears recover it easily and simply kneel out the rest of the clock to secure their 28-25 win. This should be a really good matchup. Obviously, their game last year came down to that incredible Hail Mary, and despite their records, I think both of these teams are a bit better this year than they were last season. As for who wins, I think it's a real toss-up, and will come down to whoever has less self-inflicted errors, so I could definitely see this being the outcome. As for the QB performances, both of them are doing the most with the least. Funnily enough, neither of these QBs has had less than 200 passing yards in a game so far this season, yet neither was able to even break 150 in this Madden game. 21 pass attempts apiece, and Caleb definitely came out on top, turning them into 23 more yards. Plus, it's obviously better when you've got 2 touchdowns instead of a touchdown and an interception. Now, a big part of the reason why these quarterbacks weren't throwing the ball a lot is because they were too damn busy running it. Jaden Daniels had the better ground game, racking up 99 yards on 9 rushes as well as a touchdown. Also, apparently he lost the ball at some point, but I'm pretty sure DC recovered it, which is why it didn't pop up in the recap. Caleb Williams only had 49 yards on 6 carries, but he still made sure to find the end zone as well. The main difference in this game is that the Bears also got support from their running backs, as Swift put up 86 yards, while Washington couldn't get their ground game going, as Bill only managed 27 yards. With neither quarterback breaking 150 yards, none of these receivers are really going to pop off the stat sheet. Zach Ertz led all pass catchers with 6 receptions, but he only managed to turn them into 36 yards. The leading receiver by yardage is DJ Moore with a middling 44 yards. At the bottom of the sheet, we see Bears rookie Luther Burden getting a catch, but otherwise nothing particularly of note. Both of these QBs had much healthier games through the air in the Monte Carlo sim, as both of them cleared 200 yards, but it did come at the cost of their rushing yards. The running backs see their performances get averaged out a little bit, Swift's yards dropping slightly while Bills pick up. However, the trend of receivers being relatively uneventful continues. The main thing of note here is Terry's increased role in the Monte Carlo sim, as he only managed 1 catch for 3 yards in Madden. Finally, the scores. A really wide spread of likely outcomes for this one, but like our other Monday night game this week, the sim sees an offensive shootout, as the most likely result is a 21-21 tie. Unlike the Bills-Falcons game though, the sim does favor one of these teams over the other, leaning in the direction of DC, as the average final score is 22 Commanders, 20 Bears. Do you agree with the simulations, or do you envision a different future? I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comments. As a reminder, our drink for this matchup is the deliciously floral Cherry Blossom. If you make it, please let me know what you think, and I'd love to hear your suggestions for what drink should be your team's representative. Stay curious, stay thirsty, and I'll see you in the next one.